강승태 연구원, 이거 바로
예.
녹화되는 거예요? 그래서 우리가 바로 녹화된 거 볼 수 있는 거예요?
예, 제가 이거 컴퓨터에 녹화하면 볼 수 있습니다.
예, 좀 녹화하세요. 예.
예.
Okay, when our next speaker, Mr. Hong is there, I want Simon to let me know and recognize him and change him to co-host that he can unmute himself. So
Yeah,
please
okay.
let me know. Please text me when he is in the room, okay?
Yeah, oh, I got it.
Okay, guys, thank you so much for your beautiful cooperation. I'm going to go live stream now. And then we start recordings and we start the webinar itself. So live stream is going to be ready in about 1 minute.
Professor Kasem,
Yes.
can I change the Korean participants' name after when they get inside our Zoom room?
All of them, you mean?
I mean, who are having Korean name, Korean?
Yeah, if you wish to, you can.
Speakers.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I will.
Yes, sure. Okay, we go live. Welcome or welcome back to Scott, Smart Community Webinar Series. Today, we are with you with representative tourism festivals of Korea. And we are going to take you to the festivals that are a tool for tourism management, especially for the seasonality of tourism management. Before we start the webinar, I would like to ask the lead curator of Scott Webinars, Professor Jafar Jafari, to enlighten us with the opening remark for today. Professor Jafari, floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kasem, and welcome everybody to the 36th webinar in our series. We began the webinars, many of you have been with us before, so you know this. We began the webinar just after the coronavirus became a pandemic, and one of the first things that the COVID-19 did and continues to do is to hammer tourism, to paralyze tourism. So we decided to take advantage of this slow moment in the movement of tourism to start a series. And those of you you have been with us, you already know the series. The purpose of the series is to pay close attention to the needs of communities engaged in tourism. In particular, we are interested to give more attention to small communities who do not know the art and science of doing business in hospitality and tourism. We want to also give a special attention to small operators, small and medium-sized operators. Not that the big ones are not important. Of course, they're important. The giant ones are important. The chain hotels, the airlines, the entities that move mass movement of tourism, they're important. But those people know where to go to get help. The government assists them. They know how to deal with the government. They know how to deal with policymakers. They know how to make changes. The small operators often do not know. Small communities often do not know, and they are hurt more than any other group. So that was the purpose of starting this webinar series. Each time we have a different theme, but all the themes are dealing with small community tourism development. We are not dealing with over-tourism, for example. There is no over-tourism today anyway, but we are not talking with a big trends, but rather than small population of smaller operations in tourism. So each time we have a theme which contributes to the subject of advancing the an application of knowledge to small communities and small operations. This time is very special because we are dealing with festivals. Festivals, by definition, penetrate into the community. There is no community that can have festival and not be engaged in it. It's just impossible. So it gives us a perfect subject to deal with the interaction between festival and members of the community. Members of the community have nothing to do with tourism, basically, but during the festival, somehow they get engaged and they get involved. And also, they may rent their extra rooms and facilities to the festival participants, etc. At least this is the way that is here in the United States and in some other countries. And I'm pretty sure that trend is almost the same in Korea. So I'm very pleased that we are making this contribution on a new topic, new to us, not event is not, festivals are not new subjects, but event and festivals are new to our book, to our series. So I welcome this opportunity, and I'm very pleased to have Dr. Jeong, Jeong with Hong Jeong for us with us, because I have had the pleasure of having him as my student many years ago here at the University of Wisconsin. He knows the university here quite well because you were here going for I believe 2 years with us, and then you moved across the border. You went to go to University of Minnesota to get your PhD. And something that, well, I know many things about Gang, but one of the things that I know for sure, he's very passionate about the subject of event and festivals, even when he was here talking about events and festivals, and he did a great job in doing the Olympic Games, doing thesis on Olympic Games. So I'm very pleased that Gang, you took your knowledge to your country, and you made something very special out of it. You popularized the subject and practice of event tourism. So we are grateful for what you're doing. Again, I welcome everybody to the webinar. I will be with you along with Dr. Qasim, and fortunately there's simultaneous interpretation, so you can go back to your Korean language and we would benefit from it. Welcome to Scott's webinar series. Qasim, back to you.
Thank you, Professor Jafari. And now the floor is for Professor Jeong, who is the architect of this webinar. Professor Jeong is the president of IFEA Asia and Korea, board director of Korea IAFA Evaluation Committee of Department of Culture and Tourism, and Heritage Expert Committee of Cultural Heritage Administration. He's the founder of famous Korean festivals, and we are all enthusiastic to hear from your webinar prepared today. Dr. Jeong, the floor is yours. And before you start, Dr. Jeong, I would like to give this information to everybody that we have two channel rooms. One is English and the other one is Korean. If you would like to hear the entire webinar in English, please select your channel in the bottom right of the page. We have simultaneous translations, and you can enjoy both languages as you wish. Dr. Jeong, floor is yours.
네, 감사합니다. 자파리 교수님, 너무나 반갑습니다. 이렇게
Thank you and welcome everyone. And Professor Jafari, great to see you all. I am very honored to have this very great webinar. This is the 36th anniversary, and this is a special program focused on Korea. And they select the topic of Korea's local and traditional festival for that webinar. I appreciate this great opportunity on behalf of all the Korean experts and participants. And I understand Dr. Jafari and Dr. Bafadari have put a lot of efforts to organize this event. Thank you for your work. And I'm very happy to speak in Korean freely thanks to the interpretation service. So I appreciate all that. And today, as we mentioned briefly, we'd like to briefly talk about how regional, what kind of a regional impact we can have throughout Korea's representative tourism festival. So that is the topic of this webinar. And today we'd like to talk about very special and unique Korean tourism model. And when it comes to popular tourism or popular festival, many are thinking about the festival that has very long history of or unique culture. But given the long history and the unique historic background of Korea, some festivals are just occurred naturally, but in the late of 1990s, as Korea have opened a new era of local autonomous governments, they started to have tourist-oriented and resident-oriented festivals. So unlike old festivals, this kind of new modern festivals are big trend in these days, and it is a very good opportunity to meet the needs of the local residents and the tourists. Out of 2,000 festivals, we selected two most popular festivals that are Boryeong Mud Festival and Jinju Yudeung Festival. And in the second presentation, you will be introduced about very modern one. It just has a new festival with the 10 years of history. It has become very regular cultural event, which is hosted by Incheon Metropolitan City. This is called as Heritage Night. So it is a kind of a program to introduce the tourists to the cultural heritages during the night time. So that might be very interesting to you. So there will be 3 presentations today, and all of these presentations will be directly delivered by PhD holders. And the first speaker will be Dr. Nam Moon-hee. She will talk about Boryeong Mud Festival. And the second speaker will be Dr. Hoan Jung-soo, who is working for the Incheon Tourism Organism. He will introduce you the music festival of Pentaport Rock Music Festival. And he will also introduce what kind of impact the local festival can have on the urban regeneration. It is very interesting topic. Last but not least, this is the festival that has the biggest number of tourists with the largest economic effect. That is Jinju Festival or Floating Lantern Festival in Jinju area. So that is the light floating over the stream. So he will talk about how this festival have an impact on the local area economically and culturally. For your better understanding, Before the the first speaker's presentation, we're gonna play a short video of Boryeong Festival. And before the last speaker, we're gonna play another 2-minute short videos about the Jinju Namgang floating lantern festival. So that's the overview of today's event. Let me just to summarize it. So all the global the audiences, what you have to remember is that since the late 1990s, we intentionally try to create and design a festival to meet the demands of local residents and the tourists. Actually, that was in the line with the government policy to promote the culture. So we have a lot of new festivals across the country, and there are so many such kind of festivals across Korea, but we select a couple of them which are most successful to deliver how they can be successful and how they have an impact on the local economy. So that's the main, concept and the point that we have to focus on this webinar. So I'd like to give the floor to Dr. Nam Moon-hee. She actually got her doctoral degree about Boryeong Mud Festival. So she will introduce you the Boryeong Mud Festival and how it have an impact on the local economy.
Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning. I'd like to extend my warm welcome to the ladies and gentlemen from the globe.
Joining us. My name is Moon Nam. It's very excited to introduce everyone to the Boryeong Mud Festival today. 네, 영어 인사는 이렇게 잠깐.
So that is the end of my English greetings. And so I'd like to move on to the Korean presentation. Today, I'd like to talk about the regional impact of Boryeong Mud Festival on its host city. Boryeong Mud City is one of the representing festivals in Korea, and also this festival is well known to the world. So many researchers have keen interest in research. So I was one of them. I had a keen interest in this research subject, so I continued my research and I obtained my PhD by writing a thesis about Boryeong Mud Festival. Boryeong is the home place of Boryeong Mud Festival, so I'd like to talk about what impact the festival has generated. So before I begin my presentation, I'd like to briefly show you about the festival. Let's watch the video.
Did you check the buttons?
Yeah, I checked button. Can you see the video?
Yes, but it's not properly. Okay, please continue.
Yudeung. 네. 잘 보셨어요?
Hope you enjoyed the video. How was it? So through the video that you were able to see the excitement of the festival, full of fun. So I'm sure that you got the feeling, the vibe of the festival. So I'd like to now start the presentation, the impact of Boryeong Mud Festival on its hosting city. One moment, please.
네. 전체 큰 화면.
I'd like to make the screen as large as possible for you.
보령머드축제는 한국인이라면 아마도 모르는 사람이
I'm sure that most of Koreans know about the Boryeong Mud Festival. So although if you're not, even though you're not Korean, then I'm sure that you must have heard about the festival.
한마디로 대한민국의 대표 축제를 넘어서 글로벌
So now the Boryeong Mud Festival is going beyond Korea and is expanding to the world.
지역에도 긍정적인
So
영향들이 많이
this festival has generated positive impact on the host city. So I'd like to briefly introduce about the festival.
보령머드축제는
Boryeong Mud Festival
한국의 서해안에 있는
is located on the west
대천
coast
해수욕장에서
in Daecheon Beach. Every year, in the middle of July, for almost 10 days that the festival is held. Korea is the home of K-pop, as you know. So K-pop and the K culture, and now the K festival is becoming famous, and Boryeong Festival is leading that position. So as you can see from the pictures, many foreigners join the festival and enjoy the time, and then you can see the big smile on their face. So this Boryeong Mud Festival was created by who? You must be wondering, right? The host of this webinar, Mr. Jeong, Professor Jeong, came up with this wonderful festival in 1997. So he made an initial suggestion in 1990s, and finally in 1997 or 8, the festival became available to the public. So in the beginning, putting mud on skin was not easily acceptable to Koreans because Koreans found it a bit weird. But as the media loved the festival became so popular, and the news feeds about this festival were spread quickly. So you can see in these photos, Westerners love the festival rather than Koreans. But as more foreigners are interested in mud festival, Koreans also happen to love the festival. And from 2000, year 2000, from the third festival, that the festival added new program, self-massage for free. And then that became the festival more popular. And then the festival added another concept of mud theme park, and also hands-on experience programs were more introduced. So more visitors, and especially foreign visitors, came more. So about 10% of the total visitors were foreigners. So compared to other Korean festivals, the ratio of foreign visitors is absolutely high. So these wonderful ideas and the content have driven the growth of the visitors. And you see in 10 years since the beginning of the festival that the visitors number has grown tenfold. And one of the interesting things that you can see is that the young generations love the festival. In their 20s and 30s, that they love this festival. While hosting the festival, that the festival has adopted very new concept of designating one district for the festival. You see on this map, initially the festival was held here at the left side, but this festival site has moved to the right side. So that is the designated spot for the event. What kind of meaning does it have to the public, to the hosting city? In the past, this area on the right side, the third district, was a place for redevelopment. And as the festival became more popular, that the site, the third district, became the site of the festival. So that encouraged the redevelopment and revitalization of the economy of that area. So the area for the festival has expanded from the left to the right side. This mud festival earned many awards. So it was recognized in 2006 as the best festival, and also by IFEA, it was selected as the best. It was selected as World Festival City in 2010. And also the festival is working closely with other famous festivals like Spain Tomato Festival. And it's still growing. So this Boryeong Mud Festival has made great impact on the hosting city and hosting region. In 2014, I obtained my PhD by writing a thesis about the impact of Boryeong Mud Festival on the region. From the TVED perspective, it's about economic and social, cultural and social perspectives. The purpose of my research was, as I mentioned before, I wanted to see the economic and social, cultural and environmental impact of the festival on the hosting region. And one of the methods was analyzing Professor Jeong Hwan's 10-year research and observation on the festival. I also visited the site to take a survey on the stakeholders, the people, organizers, and also the people who are working in the tourism sector and citizens. So as a result, I came up with 35 major accomplishments. I conducted analysis. So I came up with the 35 major accomplishments from 1 to 35. And one of the things that I'd like to recognize is number top 10. And these are main achievements. The first recognition was that the festival has contributed to the economic revitalization of the first district. The first district is the circle that you saw on the map on the left side. So the citizens and the organizers recognize the festivals has contributed to the economic development of the city. And also the festival has helped the Boryeong city gain brand awareness of the world. And as festival has engaged in partnership with other famous international festivals like Spain Tomato Festivals, so Boryeong city gained more awareness from the world. And as the big investments were made in the area, more facilities, tourism facilities and leisure facilities were available to the city. If you go to Boryeong City now, there you will see many brands or commercial brands with mud-related names. And even one of the street names is Mud. And you see the Mud Pharmacy, Mud Taxi, everything is involving mud. So Mud has become one of the important brands in Boryeong City. And the tourism sector had seen their employees earn more money. And as the city has developed mud cosmetics, mud-related cosmetics and related products have gained popularity, and that has, in general, helped the citizens to feel proud of the city. So based on these results that I conducted factor analysis, and as you can see that there are 6 factors. So these factors are about tourism facilitation and regional tourism environment, and etc. So based on these research analyses that I have summarized into 4 important topics, and the most important impact was revitalizing the economy. For 10 days of the during the festival, 1.8 million people visited for 10 days before the COVID hit the world. And it also created 458 million won of production inducement effect. So this festival is definitely a moneymaker for the city. In the first factor, tourism facilitation factor, that you see that the many factors, the elements of the factors are indicating that the festival has helped the city to earn more money. And especially you can see that the increased summer part-time job and the facilitation of development to Daecheon Beach, 3rd District. This area is beach. So you might think that only the summer season, the beach area will be popular. However, with the festival becomes so popular that even during off-season, visitors still visit Boryeong to see the beach, Daecheon Beach. And the second impact is improvement on regional brand. As I mentioned before, Boryeong Mud Festival attracts a lot of foreigners. And the one thing that we have to note is that there is an increasing ratio of the foreigners coming from overseas, not the foreigners residing in Korea. So the foreigners are visit Korea to attend the festival. And this festival definitely has improved the regional brand of the city. So the Boryeong has now a big name in the global scene. And the citizens in the community feel proud. And also the government officials are better recognized, and they are touted as good. They're doing good work because of the festival. So the citizens are satisfied with the festival results. And this festival is exported to the world. The festival is working closely with Spain Tomato Festival. And also, these 2 festivals had a joint exhibition. So Breakaway was the contents in common between the main idea of common between the Boryeong Mud Festival and also the Spain Tomato Festival. So this is one of the news scene that the anchor is introducing Boryeong Mud Festival, participating in Tomato Festival. And in 2016, we signed an MOU to export our festival to New Zealand. In Rotorua City, we held the first Mudtopia. So for that occasion, Professor Jeong visited there to share the knowledge of holding the festival. So this Boryeong Mud Festival is growing globally, and these 2 occasions were important catalysts for the festival to go abroad. And this yellow section is the new district, the 3rd district, which was newly developed for the festival. And this design, and this area is developed to emphasize the design of mud. And since then, mud-related products like bed, mattress, and ceramics have been introduced. In Korea, recently we have updated the street names, and along the coast, you see the big road, and then that is the name of the road is Mud Road. And you see Mud Beach Hotel. The new hotels add the name Mud into their hotel name. And there is a call taxi, the taxi hiring app. So you see the name is Boryeong Mud Call. And also the seaweed, dried seaweed, has mud name on it, and ceramics, and also the liquor product has mud name on it. And the last impact that the festival has created is the regional development. So now I'd like to wrap up. The Boryeong Mud Festival enables the visitors to forget about their mundane daily life. And because of the uniqueness that festival has become one of the representing festivals of the Korea, and it has now been rooted well in the city. So this wide beach now is like full of mud. So not only the 10 days, but throughout the year, the visitors recognize Daecheon as an important place for Mud Festival. And this is my end of presentation. Thanks for paying attention to my presentation.
교수님 안 들립니다. 음소거 해제 부탁드립니다.
Please turn your mic on. Thank you very much. And Professor Nam, thank you very much. In particular, you put a lot of images on your presentation so that help many international audience to understand the concept of the festival much better. Mud Festival has been a very success and has become one of the flagship festival representing Korea. Last year, the Korea Tourism Organization ranked Mud Festival as #1 to have the highest recognition among Korean people. It generates many different socio-economic effects, but to the interest of time, we'd like to discuss such kind of effects during the discussion. Because we have many international tourists to the Mud Festival, so young residents in the area are showing high interest in learning English. So that is one effect of this festival. So now let's move on to the second presentation. So it's a pretty new type of a festival and event. And Jinju and Boryeong have presented a successful festival which has shorter than 10 years of history. And recently we have a new event or festival, and that is called as Culture Night in Europe. And actually it is a combination of a culture night with cultural heritage. So this is a very unique type of festival started here in Korea, and it gets a lot of popularity these days. And history is very short, like 6 to 7 years. One of the most representative of night festival is Incheon night event. And now I'd like to give the floor to Dr. Hong Jong-soo, and he is the director of the Incheon Tourism Organization. So the director Hoan will touch upon the impact of a festival and culture night event. And also he will cover the music festival of Pentaport Rock Music Festival and how this event have a direct impact on urban regeneration. So he will touch upon these interesting points. So Dr. Hong, Professor, the floor is yours.
하고 말씀드릴
Thank you very much. Please give me a minute to share my screen.
교수님 이제 화면이 보이시나요?
Can you see my screen?
네, 화면 잘 보입니다.
Yes, we can.
그럼 이제 먼저 제 소개부터 하고 발표
I'd like to
시작하겠습니다.
introduce myself first.
I'm Jeong Hoan. I'm in Incheon Tourism Organization. I'm managing festival and event for Incheon. I'm going to talk about impact of Pentaport Music Festival and Culture Night event. I mean, the Heritage Night for urban regeneration and revitalization. Let's start it. 그 교수님께서 좀 전에 이제 소개해 주셨지만
As Professor Jeong introduced briefly, to begin with, I'd like to make this comment. About 20 years ago, I started my master degree with Professor Jeong, and the most frequently heard name was Professor Jafari, and I am very honored to make a presentation before Professor Jafari. So Professor Jafari, in Korea, your name is pretty big in tourism industry and tourism academic area. You are kind of celebrities here in Korea. This is the comment that I'd like to make. So I am very honored. So this is the image on the screen that is 20 years ago of Incheon. And Incheon looked like this 20 years ago. The left side is the city center, which is home to the industrial complex. Because it has a lot of industrial complex, people call it Gray City. And Incheon is also port city, but port sometimes related to some waste or dirty. So to overcome this kind of image, we established the Incheon Tourism Organization, and the organization carried out many different projects, but it haven't been that much successful to change or improve the image. The organization carried out many different projects, including Heritage Night and Music Festival, and it has been in place for the past 10 years, and it dedicated a lot to improve the image of Incheon so far. The images before was 20 years ago, and this image on the screen is the Incheon of today. The image on the left side is a new town. It used to be ocean, but we refill it to turn that into a new town. And my first point is Pentaport Music Festival, and this is the place to host the Pentaport Music Festival. So this area has become global area, and it is known as one of the most dynamic new town in Korea, which is not only popular for Korean local residents, but also global tourists. And one of the the successful driver behind that is a festival. And the images on the right side is old downtown. It is area so-called old port area. Because it has a lot of cultural heritages, the development has been limited. So this area has been very kind of slowed down. And the Incheon City Mayor have a plan for this area, and he want to revitalize this area. To do so, we carried out the Heritage Night. So I'd like to introduce you that heritage. Before that, I'd like to show you Pentaport Rock Music Festival. The images on the left side is Songdo, which is a new town. After we filled the area, we had the Pentaport Music Festival. So we built a music park. And after we are having the music park, we can have a lot different events which are fancy and dynamic at international festival as well. By doing so, Songdo has become a global name for the music lovers. And around the music festival area, during the festival period, many pubs or some many facilities or restaurants are having small-sized and small-scale event. So it helped the local area revitalize. It's just like the South by South Music Festival in Austin, Texas, USA. I cannot say it's shoulder to shoulder, but it is now growing into that kind of a festival. So far, we have hosted about 1 million visitors, and the Incheon Pentaportal Rock Festival ranked 8th among 50 most successful music festival. And thanks to the Pentaport Music Festival, Incheon is a mega city with more than 3 million population, and Incheon has earned a new nickname of Music City. And the festival does not end as a festival because it related to the many different industries like entertainment and music industry and the food and beverage restaurant industries. So it has greatly dedicated to the local economy as well. If you look at the economic ripple effect, it is about 21.7 billion, but it has on the increasing. So that was the brief introduction of a Pentaport Music Festival. Now I'd like to move on to the old town. So the pictures you are looking at is the old port area. About 100 years ago, this is the most dynamic area because it has a long history. It houses a lot of cultural heritages. As we have cultural night event, we developed this area. As I working for the organization, I planned some events and programs together with Professor Kang, and I have witnessed how it have developed in the past decade. Last year, I studied, I my doctoral paper is about how this night event have an impact on the local economy and society. This is really outdated area, and it's very difficult to turn that into tourist spot. But as we introduce a very small festival of Heritage Night, this whole area has been changed dramatically. So I'd like to introduce you how it has changed during the last 10 years and how it has an impact on urban regeneration. The left side image is the images before the event. Not many people are walking on the street, but after 7 p.m., you can even find a stray dog or cat. You cannot spot any person on the street after 6 p.m. So the stores are vacated. Many commercial and merchants left that area. But thanks to the Heritage Night, people flock into this area. In particular, young people love to come here. As there are young people are coming in, cafes have a very booming in this area. So the area has been regenerated. So let me just deep dive into that. So this festival is combining the three areas of cultural facility and cultural heritages and the private facilities like a cafe or studio. You know, actually there were not a living organisms after the 7 p.m. But since we have that night event, it has become very dynamic during the evening. So by doing so, this local economy has been revived. As you can see here, as we introduce this event, as time goes by 1 year, the size of the festival area has expanded and the whole, the district itself has been expanded. Over time, as we go on the Heritage Night, the commercial district has expanded as many young people come into this area to open their own studio or the cafe. And the aisles for the Heritage Night is named after the Heritage Night. So there is an aisle named after Heritage Night. And there are some programs under the Heritage Night And some of the programs are actually have been utilized and applied to the urban programs and urban design and urban redevelopment. As time goes by, the number of participating companies and stores are increasing. And at the very beginning, local residents are not happy about the festival, but as we are keep hosting this event, local residents are enthusiastic about it, and they even merchandising some the touristic products. 93% of the store owners believe that this event helped revitalize the economy, including their stores. So we witnessed these kind of changes in the past 10 years. So Professor Jeong and I believe that I need to summarize all that to make my doctoral paper. So I compared the 33 festivals, and I also look at how these festivals have an impact on the urban regeneration. So let me just introduce you the content of my doctoral paper. So I had a survey of uh, about 800 respondents, and it shows some demographic characteristics of respondents. The most important thing is the residents. I try to include diverse the residents. And the residents are widely distributed according to the histories of their living and working in this area. Because it is my doctoral thesis, so this is the statistics is very complicated, but I'd like to skip all the difficult part and give you the essence. Heritage Night is a small-sized event, but it can generate urban regeneration. And I just see what specific effect it can generate. First and biggest thing is that it changed the recognition about urban development. Incheon City, as I mentioned earlier, is a mega city with 3 million population. Incheon is the second or third largest city after Seoul. When it comes to urban regeneration, people believe that that is all about building new big buildings in the outdated area. But as local people and local residents experienced Heritage Night, they believe that instead of a hardware-centered urban regeneration, software approach, which is like a cultural content-oriented program, help the old downtown to be regenerated more efficiently. It is very meaningful. Of course, it is not applicable to all area, but it is still has a lot of implication. And second part is that the most difficult part about the urban regeneration is no matter how successful the redevelopment is, people do not go to that area, but we regenerate this area with this festival. So young people are enthusiastic to come to this area. As young people are coming here, it helps a lot to encourage and to lead urban regeneration. And the third part, accordingly, as many people are coming to the area, this area has started to be recognized as a tourist spot. As people flux, the commercial activities becomes very dynamic. So it generates many positive effects. And the second implication is that I compare this result of the festival with the Incheon city with some other smaller city of Gunsan. Gunsan is smaller than Incheon, but it has a very similar characteristics with Incheon. Incheon, which is a pretty big city, the Incheon city, the metropolitans do not like the idea to tear down the buildings and to rebuild the bigger one. But the smaller cities like 군산 city, they really happy about having young people are coming to that area after the urban redevelopment. And this is the factor analysis. I just did 33 factor analysis, and I look at the social and cultural effects, economic effects, and regional specialization effects and tourism effects. So the factor number 1, 2, 3 are well shown, but in my study, I add regional specialization effects. That's pretty new. What that means is that when you are regenerating the local area, instead of a physical redevelopment, you have to create some program that is customized to that area. You have to create some content that is fit to that local area. Since 15 minutes have passed, so I'd like to wrap up my presentation. So these are the summaries of my presentation. And so I'd like to cover that during the Q&A session. Thank you for listening. Professor Jafari, it is my great honor to see you. And I'm very happy to share this meaningful time with you. Thank you very much. I wish you the very best. Thank you.
우리 저 홍정수 박사님께서 바로 우리 그 도시재생에
Doctor.
한국인들의 인식은 하드웨어 엄청난 돈을 들여서
Koreans tend to think that the redevelopment means that building new building and new infrastructure. So we could put a lot of investment in redevelopment of the region. However, we were able to see the new case of regional development in Incheon by having young populations coming in, that we're able to see new types of regional development. Thank you for sharing. As we are out of time, I would like to move on to the third presenter. There is a very important and well-known night festivals in Korea, and that is happening in Jinju. And Jinju Floating Lantern Festival has brought changes and impact to the hosting city. So we're going to find about what impact that the festival has given to the city. And I'd like to welcome Dr. Jeong. He is the third presenter. He's going to talk about the regional impact of Jinju River Floating Lantern Festival. Nice to meet you. I am living and working in Jinju. I'm in charge of Jinju River Floating Lantern Festival. I'm in charge of the organizing the festival. Yes, as Dr. Nam mentioned about the Boryeong Mud Festival, yeah, she touted the festival is really famous, but my festival is also very festival, that our festival takes place for almost 2 weeks. And as you are well aware that there are about 1,000 festivals in Korea, and among them, one of the representing festivals has been Jinju Festival. And now that we're going global. Before I talk about the festival, I would like to briefly watch the video.
Darkness that enclosed the surroundings instantaneously disappears due to a single small light. Hope that emerges through the gloominess. What is the most beautiful light in your memory? Countless numbers of the cities throughout the world immersed in the warmth and tenderness generated by light. The name that cannot be left out. It is the Jinju City. representative cultural and tourism festival of Korea that has become the pride of the Jinju citizens. Jinju Yudeung Festival, where all that you have imagined are realized in front of your eyes. Special journey towards the light begins now. Jinju Yudeung Festival is embarking on its second stage of catapulting into the status of the globally renowned festival as the Globally Festival of Korea. Beginning with the explosive responses and acclaims on the lanterns that were initiated first from the countries in the American continent, including the USA and Canada, we shall continue to achieve transition and ingenious imaginations while at the same time fortifying the substantially of the overall aspects of the festival in order for it to be rapidly expanded into the entire world by transcending the boundaries of Asia. Moreover, we shall spur on with our efforts to ensure that the cultural values of the Jinju Yudeung Festival will be engraved firmly in the human history. Light has ascended more than 420 years of time since 1592 to the present. Jinju Yudeung Festival. It contains the pride of the citizens of Jinju on history, culture, and art, and the volition of creation that takes up the challenge for the beauty, as well as the desire to share love and hope together. We shall soar even more energetically in order for the Jinju Yudeung Festival, that firmly established reputation as the global masterpiece festival that the world pays attention to by transcending the current status as the representative festival of Korea. As the festival of the people of the entire world without national boundaries, and to light up the hearts of even greater number of people in a wider world. Water, fire, light, and our hope. Jinju Yudeung Festival, sharing with the people of the world. Thank you very much.
말씀하세요, 석 박사님.
Please go ahead, Dr. Seok. Just one moment, please. I'd like to share my presentation.
우리 강성도 연구원님 화면 공유를 좀 풀어주십시오.
Mr. Khan, can you please help me?
저는 오늘 시간 관계상
Due to time constraint,
지역에 미치는 영향 중에서
among the impact that the festival has given to the region, I'd like to point out only 4. It has improved the city's image and the connectivity, expanding the regional connectivity. And the third is job creation and regional city regeneration impact. And these are the 4 main points that I'd like to talk about. In Jinju area, for a long time, there have been celebration of Yudeung Festival, which means floating lantern. So the students gathered their talents to make floating lanterns, and then they floated on the Nam River. And these on the right side, the right picture is the current image of the festival. So in 20 years from the small left side picture, on the right side that the festival has grown into a big one, and this bridge, and at the bottom there is another bridge. So this length is about 1 kilometer, and this width of the river is 200 meters. So in this river, the whole festival is taking place. The city image has enhanced because the festival is working closely with other festivals. In 2013, that the capital of Canada, Ottawa, became our city work partnership. So we signed MOU with Winterlude festivals so that our lanterns were introduced at the Winterlude Festival in Narragansett Fall. Festival, and also in the US that we participated in the LA Korean Festival in Hidalgo City. The IFEA assembly was also one of the occasions that we were able to let the world know about the festival. Boryeong Mud Festival mentioned that it participated in 2014 Spain Tomato, and one of the competing festival, River Fish Festival, Sancheon Festival in Hacheon, and also that they participated in Canada Winter Carnival. So these are good examples of letting the world know about the hosting city of a famous festival. So by developing the festival, that we were able to promote the hosting city, which is Jinju. As I briefly showed the pictures that we participated in Winter Festival and Niagara Fall Winter Light Festival and in LA Korean Festival and Hidalgo City Border Fest is the occasions that we participated in globally. And the festival has contributed to the regional economic development. In 2015, that we turned into the festival with charge. For us to enhance our sustainability, festival sustainability. So we have turned some of programs into charge programs. So out of 4 billion won of budget that we garnered our own budget of 3.3 billion won. So which means that we have the self-sustainability of 82%. And we also partially turned some programs into festivals into the festivals with charges. So as you can see, as the year goes by, that the budget for hosting the festival is almost like 4 billion or 3.7 billion. But you see that our self-sustainability, it's very high. It's increasing 42 to 82, 85, and 110 in 2017. Then for us to physical sustainability, for us to increase fiscal sustainability, that we are holding festival, and at the same time, we are reducing the subsidy that we are receiving from the government. In 2016, I conducted a research about the turning festival into a program with charges, charging the festival. And out of 20 items, the top 5 pointed it out that by turning the programs into, by charging the programs, so that the environment has become cleaner and the program quality has improved and the safety issues have decreased. But also that there are negative comments. Some of the citizens and visitors complained that the Nam River is a public area. However, how can you charge the public area? So that was the complaint that the festival received. And we charge 10,000 won, which is about $10 US. So people, the visitors are willing to, the people who are coming to the festival, that they are people who are willing to pay for the festival. So of course, it's important that you attract as many as possible, but at the same time that it is also efficient for you to target the audiences who are willing to pay. The festival is taking place in the center of the city. And as the visitors are coming to the festival to pay, so not only the festival, but the related facilities like accommodations and restaurants are all seeing their economic benefits. So one of the good impact is, like I mentioned, fiscal sustainability. Left picture, the top left picture is Nam River. And this is a bridge across the Nam River. There are 3 bridges. And we charge 2,000 won, which is about less than US dollars. So as many people are crossing the bridge, that although we charge only 2,000 won, the amount was quite good. We built 3 bridges, but we are building bridges more securely, as many people are using the bridge. So on top, on the right side tab, you see the company logo. So the businesses can participating by giving us endorsement fee. And this festival is known for night contents, as this festival is a night specialized festival. Jinju is home to 350,000 people. With the festival, about 1 million people visit. As this festival is night festival, the accommodation facilities become full during the festival. So this festival not only gives good impact to the hosting city, but also the surrounding city. And this festival has good job creation impact. We are going to have a presidential election soon. So the young generations in their 20s and 30s are having difficulties in finding jobs. So this festival has created many jobs, like me, that I'm one of the organizers. And also this lantern requires a lot of handwork. So you see about 20 people are working full-time, that they are making floating lanterns. And also part-timers are hired, about 200 people during 2 weeks. And also the related businesses like printing companies and booth operating companies are also benefiting. And the picture, you see that the actors are showing the visitors the torturing scene. So these are the actors from one play corp in Korea, in Jinju area. So they are showing the play to the visitors. So by paying them, that they can also continue their cultural activities, their acting roles. So all these related people are getting benefit from festival. Last but not least, this festival creates regional, city restorational impact. For the city restoration New Deal policy, the government is investing 5 trillion won every year for 5 years. So that includes hardware like building, infrastructure, plus software. So for regeneration of the city of course, hardware and the software should be combined. As the festival is taking place at the center of the city, so that we aim to hold this festival more often, not monthly, but a seasonal festivals, like 4 seasons throughout the year. And also the lantern itself is creating work and impact. We are building a research center and also the exhibition center. And this is the building that we have set up lanterns in front of the building where in which the visitors can come and enjoy the lantern exhibition. So throughout the Jinju, with the one item of floating lanterns that we are building research center, and also that we are developing professionals who are specialized in floating lanterns. So this whole lantern is creating the industry, one big industry in this area of Jinju. So like I said, that the city image is positively impacted and the job has been created. So this festival has created wonderful positive impacts to Jinju. So this is my end of my presentation. I'd like to touch upon more questions, cover more questions during Q&A. Thank you.
자, 감사합니다.
Thank you
우리
very much.
석장호 박사님, 네, 감사합니다. 우리 아주 그 진주남강 유등축제는 아마 이제 그 부분에서 하나 이렇게 빠진 점은 이게 사실은 무엇보다도 야간형 축제이기 때문에 엄청난 숙박을 유도한다는 겁니다. 그래서 오늘 그 부분에 너무나 잘 아는 부분이기 때문에 우리 한국분은 알지만은 외국 커뮤니티에는 잘 알려지지 않은 부분이 이게
are not
바로
clear about that. One
엄청난
specific
숙박을 유도하기
characteristic is
때문에
that
지역에
there is a
파급
growing
효과가
demand
굉장히
on the
높다는 거죠.
accommodation, so
그래서
it's a ripple effect
그
on the
부분을
local
참고로 좀
economy is
말씀을
pretty
드리고요.
big.
토론 때도
So
또
during the
알아보도록
Q&A
하겠습니다.
session, we
자,
can deep
그러면은
dive
이제
into
토론으로
little
가는데
further.
토론 시간이
So
이렇게 좀 많이 남아 있지가 않습니다.
now we'd
15분
like to open
정도
the floor for
내에
the
이
Q&A
토론을 또
and
마무리해야
panel
되는데요.
discussion, but the time is
하실
very
말씀은
limited.
많은데
I
좀
understand many of
부족했던
you have a lot
점하고
of questions
좀
and
우리
comments,
특징적인
but
부분들을 좀
please
중심으로 해서 좀 말씀을 해주시면
just
좋겠습니다.
to save
우선은
all the other
남원희
common
박사님
questions, but focus
오늘
on
좀
the
많은
very
말씀을
specific one.
해주셨는데요.
And Professor Nam, you mentioned a lot important points
여러
about
가지
the mud
말씀하신
festival.
효과들
Out
가운데서
of many,
조금 더 이제 좀 빠뜨린 효과라든가 특히가
I'd like to
아까
give you the
외국인들이
last
많이 오기
chance
때문에
to
지역의
highlight the
젊은이들한테 첫
fact
단계에
that you missed
좀
out.
그런
Because
여러 가지
many
외국 문화에
international
대한 관심
tourists
이런
are
부분 때문에
coming to the local
외국어에 대한
area,
관심
so the
유도 같은
youngsters
거
in the region
또는
are
최근에
paying attention to the
ESG라든가 이런
English
것들이
or
많이
some
강조가
global
되고
culture.
있는데
These days,
환경적인
we put a
부분에서는
lot of attention
최근에는
on the
어떤 개념으로
ESG
보고
and
있는지
what
그런
kind of
그
approach
외에
you are
여러
making
가지
on the
아까
environmental perspective
말씀을
when
다 하지
hosting the
못한 그런
festival.
그
So
효과들에
can you
대해서
just
한번 좀
add
말씀을
some
해주시면
the
좋겠습니다.
effects of the model festival that you missed out?
Okay. As you mentioned, Boryeong is a small city. If the festival didn't take place, that Boryeong would not be able to attract foreign populations. But with the festival, especially Westerners have visited a lot. That has caused some interesting impact. Citizens have become more interested in English learning to educate their children. They are promoting, teaching their kids more English. And Koreans love fish, seafood. And when the Westerners visited the area, they couldn't find their favorite menus along the coast. So the restaurants, businesses in the beach that they developed menus that the Westerners would like. And as Professor Jeong mentioned about ESG, the ESG is an important topic around the world. So the region is working hard to protect the environment, and there is awareness about the protection. So I think it's one of the impact of Boryeong Mud Festival. Mud was common in the West Coast, but now the mud is recognized as an important item that feed the citizens, the region. So now the citizens have realized that it's extremely important to protect the environment, especially the mud and the beach, keep the beach clean. And then I think it's an interesting research result.
그리고 교수님 잠시만요. 저한테 이 지금
And one more, I'd like to mention one more thing, that I have received a question from the chat. Mr. Cooper has asked me a question. He asked about the health related. Oh, so the people who have health related issues, if that they can participate the festival. Although I'm not representing the festival, so I'm not representing the festival, but the organizer is here, right? Can you please answer? We have an organizer, the director of the festival. Mr. Lee, are you here? Can you please turn on your microphone? Then if you can answer. Mr. Lee? Nice to meet you. Can you hear me well? Nice to meet you. I'm an operator of Boryeong Mud Festival, and my name is Lee Hyung-yeol. Dr. Nammoon이 received a question. So he mentioned about wellness product. Okay. I'm not sure what wellness product that I can introduce to him at the moment, but I'd like to further. I'd like to provide more information to Mr. Cooper. I believe that there are great opportunities that we can further talk each other. So we'd like to make some more occasions, opportunities to talk with Mr. Cooper.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that. My research is into health and wellness, and one of my hometowns is Rotorua, New Zealand, and they have a mud festival there. But the mud is also used as a wellness treatment. And I was interested to know whether your festival could have that on the side, perhaps, as an extra attraction. Thank you.
Mr. Lee, as you are the committee member of the festival, I'm sure that you can join the conversations. So if you'd like to mention more about the wellness products, that you can say. Yeah, mud has benefits to our body. It's a benefit. It has good impact on human body. We have found that through research, many research. So by using Boryeong mud, that we have introduced various products. but these products are base cosmetics line and then mud pack, mud soap, and mud cleansing. And we are selling those products. And in the private sector, I know that the mud is utilized. The businesses are using mud for spa and therapies. And we can see that the mud is more applied in skin treatment. For further development of the festival, this year that we have received approval for another exhibition, mud exhibition. So we are preparing for another exhibition. So I believe that there will be good connection between these two. And yeah, we can also invite the speakers here for more wellness. And Mr. Cooper, after this, if you have time and if you're interested in that, we'd like to discuss more on that.
Thank you very much. That's what I thought you might be doing. Good.
예, 쿠퍼 선생님, 제가 하나
And then Mr. Cooper, and if I may have more comment that you mentioned about Lotonoa. Lotonoa, it's a sister city. It's a sister city of Boryeong Mud Festival. So and then the city is the one of our top list. So we can give the benefits to the sister city. And also we are holding a very big size exhibition. So there is a big market.
It's also a sister city of Beppu, where APU is, where we're broadcasting from. So we have that in common. Let's talk.
예. 자, 그러면
Wonderful. Okay.
우리 홍정수 박사님한테 하도록
So
하겠습니다.
let's move on to the second presentation. The question goes to Professor Hoan. You talk about the urban regeneration effect generated from the festival. You repeatedly saying that young people are plugged into this area. How that specifically have an impact on the urban regeneration? Can you elaborate on that? How young people can have an impact on the urban regeneration? Please reiterate that. And the second question is that it may also generate a negative effect or confusion or some conflict among some generations or the people. So please explain the negative effect as well.
질문이 상당히 좀 어려운 질문인 것
So
같은데.
actually, you gave me very difficult questions.
이 지역을 재생할 때 제가
To regenerate the area, I have a lot of chances to meet local residents and the urban designers. And so far, urban redevelopment or regeneration in Korea have been tearing down the old buildings, and they newly designed some nice new big buildings. That's a very basic trend of urban regeneration. So the most of the urban regeneration policies are targeting for those who are in their 50s or older. So the policies are largely focused on the older generations, so it have not been well welcomed by younger generations. But this festival is a combination of the policies and the contents or culture. The new big buildings and the new architecture can be seen anywhere, in particular big cities like Seoul. So if they see the same buildings in their area too, they don't like it. It's very common to them. So if it is a local area and different places, they want to see something new. So by developing some new content or some new features, people find it very interesting. As young people are coming into the area, the local residents are welcoming them because the young people can see the local area with a fresh eye. So they found some new issues and they find that the local culture is very interesting. So they consume the culture there and they kind of, boost that the local culture or local programs a little further. So they even create the new consumption pattern and the behavior. As young people are coming in, the commercial facilities were largely operated by older people. But as young people are coming in, and the many commercial facilities have been kind of restructured to be operated by younger generations, and the younger generations open up new stores. So as young people are flowing in, the local economy have become more dynamic as younger generations and older generations are running their own businesses in their own way. So when it comes to the urban regeneration, attracting young people to the area is one of the key success elements. Some negative effects, well, actually, I can't see many negative effects as coming by the young people. Maybe young people's enjoy, drink a lot and some, walk in the streets in very late night. So they may cause some noise, sometimes some conflict. That's maybe the negative effects, but that is still minor. So whenever we are having the festival, we fully persuade the local residents there might be some noise caused by some the party goers and festival participants, and we persuade the local residents to understand that. To the interest of time, we need to wrap up. So I'd like to give the very simple question to Dr. Seok Jang-ho before wrapping it up. So the question is that you talk about the accommodation effect. In Jinju has a very big number of the festival goers and they have to stay the night there and that have been very beneficial to the local economy. Please give us the very specific cases.
As I mentioned earlier, Jinju can accommodate 10,000 people one night. So the hotels are not enough during festival. So we built a tent area, and also we are utilizing existing facilities to turn them into accommodations. So we're actively tapping into Airbnb style accommodations. So night festivals involve accommodation. So night festivals give great opportunities to accommodation facilities. So we are closely with various stakeholders to provide more rooms. So we have prepared a lot, but we have come to 8:30 already, which is the time that we have to close. Simultaneous interpretation is arranged for 1 hour and a half. So the first part of international part will be closed here. So for more discussions, local discussions, we're going to continue. So Professor Kazem, could you please wrap up the section, please? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Jang, and thank all of the speakers for the handful presentations. I know that Professor Jafari is going to be the main conclusion and conclusion remark part of the session, but as I learned, and I have to think about the festival and the nature of festival that is seasonal, I would like to ask any of the speakers that how you deal with the seasonality and the nature of this seasonality of festivals that create large amount of investment. The nature of festivals that was represented today shows that a huge number of people are attracted, and it involves a lot of accommodation and other facilities. And so what about the time between festivals? How are these investment and facilities are going to be utilized and to reduce the seasonality of the festival industry?
자, 좋은 질문이십니다.
It's a pretty
제가
good question.
제가 좀 답변을 좀
Let me
말씀을
just give you the
드리면요.
answer.
일단은
First of
지금
all,
말씀드린 보령이나 진주는
well, the Boryong city or Jinju city,
거의 늘리지 않았습니다.
they didn't make additional investment to increase the number of accommodation.
숙박은 넘쳐나고요.
So they have a lot of hotels and accommodations there,
도시에 있는
but the
숙박 시설이라든가 이런
surrounding
부분들에 의존을
area,
하는데
surrounding
그런데
cities are also
보령의
helping them
경우에는
to meet the demands of a
점차적으로
hotel.
민간
But the
투자가 지금
Boryong
많이
city,
늘어나고
they
있는데
are attracting
사실은
more
지금도
private investment.
공급이
But as of today,
옵 시즌에도 계속해서
the supplies of hotel and
효과가
lodges,
이어지고 있다는 겁니다. 그래서
the
사실은 그런
hotels
부분에
are
대한
getting a lot of
부족
tourists
효과는
during the
하지 않고 있고
off-festival season.
또
So we don't
굉장히
need to worry about actually the seasonality.
현재까지는
So far,
그런
the
소위 말하는
hotels are meeting their
백신이
rooms
남아돈다거나 하는
with
그런
many
부분에까지
guests.
문제는 나타나지 않고 있다
They are
이런
not in a situation
말씀드리고요.
to worry about the
그거에 대해서
vacant
우리
rooms.
이용렬
So
국장님이나
regarding that,
석장호
maybe
실장님이
Mr. Iong-ho
잠깐
or
우리 저
Dr.
이제 질문에 대해서
Seok-ho can
조금
make a very brief
추가적으로
comment on
말씀해
that.
주시면 좋겠습니다. 이
If you
시즌이라는 게
want to add on
특정한
that,
시기에 많이 몰리기 때문에 이제
this is a
비수기라든가 이런
very
데는
good point.
오히려 또 문제를
Seasonality
야기하지
is
않느냐 하는
a good
부분에
important
대한 좀
point
질문이신 것
because during the
같은데요.
off season, we can have a lot of the vacant the rooms, so you can just make a comment on that.
자, 우리 석장호 국장님 저 마이크를
Professor
켜주시고
Seok-jang-ho,
말씀하세요.
please turn on your microphone.
석장호 박사님.
Turn on the microphone, please, Mr. Seok-jang-ho.
말씀하실 거 있나요? 아니면 이용렬 국장님 말씀하실 거
Or
있으면
Lee-Hong-yeol, do you have a comment to make? Well, in case of Boryong Mud Festival, this is for the summer festival. So whenever we have the Mud Festival, that is hosted on the Daecheon Beach. Inside the Daecheon Beach, we have many different levels of hotels, lodges, and accommodations around the beach. During the season, summer season, this is a peak season. So during the festival and throughout the summer, regardless of weekday and weekends, the occupancy rate of the room is almost 100%. But out of the whole year, except the summer season, during the weekends, the room occupancy is pretty high. However, during the weekdays, it's pretty low. So we have 4 seasons, so we try to create 4 different festivals to boost up all the local economy, fitting to each different season. I think these kind of efforts will result in boost in the occupancy in the hotel and also local economy in the future. So we are now working on to boost the local economy throughout the year. That's it.
그리고 닥터 카잼 이 하나 더 제가 추가로
Dr.
말씀을
Kazem,
드리면
I'd like to add one more comment.
보령은 2가지 전략으로 가고
Boryong has
있습니다. 그
2
부분의
different
시저널리티에
strategies.
대해서 왜냐면은
to respond to the seasonality.
일단은 겨울에
First is
또
that during
지금
the winter,
최근에는 축제를 만들어서
we created
좀
one
더
winter
겨울의 경쟁력을
festival.
강화하자는
So that
부분으로
is
가고
the
있다는 게
best
첫
way to
번째고요.
enhance our competitive
두
edge
번째는
in the
픽
winter season.
시즌에
And the second
픽
strategy
끝에
is
축제를
that
하지 않는다는 겁니다.
during the
7월
peak
중순이나
season,
7월
we do not
초에
have a
축제를
festival.
해서
We have
이
the
소위 말해 픽
festival
시즌을
early
일단한다는
July
겁니다.
or the end of July
7월,
to
8월이 픽 시즌이고
avoid the
9월까지 이렇게
highest peak.
석 달로
So
시즌을
by
이
doing
픽
so, we
시즌을
can
증가하는
extend the peak
부분으로
season
그
to 3 months.
보령의 그런
That is
그
our one
경제
of the
개선 효과를
strategies to kind of
극대화시키려고
make most
노력하는
of
것
the
같습니다.
economic effect coming from the mud festival.
Thank you very much, Dr. Jeong. And it was a lovely explanation that I could remember my memories of Korean tourism and festivals in Korea. So if you let me, I like to ask Professor Jafari for the final remarks and conclusion. Professor Jafari.
Thank you very much, everybody. Conclusion may not be the right word because festival is a living thing. It's something exciting and there is no end to it. It's always the beginning of the thoughts for the next round of festival. I benefited a lot from the discussion to see how a festival could be created out of the thin air, basically, and how it can be enlarged and having the dimensions of the sort of magnitudes that the presentations talk about. Of course, we all know that festivals have economic benefits, job generations, so on and so forth. And usually in many countries, festivals are created during the low season as a response to in a way, as a response to Dr. Kazem's question that festivals are typically not during the high season, but typically on the low season. And that basically they try to remedy the problem that tourism has. So festivals themselves are the solution sometimes, not the problem. What really impressed me in all the presentations is that everybody was conscious that after all, tourism should benefit the community. Not just jobs, not just money, but also quality of life. The word pride was used a number of times, that they feel prouder of their own cities, of their own community. That is something that you cannot put money on it. So that the local people, citizen of the city, of the region, feel proud that we are the host of this festival. And that is a treasure. That is probably one of the most important contributions of a festival, giving a sense of identity to local people, a sense of pride. And also a sense of belonging. It's very important to make sure that local people think that the festival belongs to them. If they think it's taken away from them and it's running their lives, they will become very disappointed with the situation. So I think what I would like to emphasize is that we have to, in the case of all festivals, we have to measure the quality of life of the local people. Is the quality of life of local people improving because of the festival? And of course, you wouldn't know this answer because you have to find out. My recommendation, probably you're already doing this survey, but my recommendation is to have a survey each year, same survey each year to figure out how happy local people are with the festival and with the situation. If you do it over a period of 5 years or 10 years, then you can see if the quality of satisfaction and quality of life in their mind is going up or down. I recall we did such a study ourselves in the last century, which it was called the Vienna Center project. It was not about festival, but it was about tourism and community. And we surveyed people in 7 different countries about their attitude towards tourism, in this case, attitude towards the festival. And we used the same questions repeated for 5 years. And we noticed that in some cities, the satisfaction rate has gone down to the disadvantage of the community. This is very important to know, that where the satisfaction is going, in which direction is going. Is the festival making life better for people or worse? More headaches or more privileges? This is very important to be done, and it has to be done a comparative study during a long period of time. Otherwise, if you take 1 year sample, you don't know if this is a representative situation or not. You have to take year 1, year 2, year 3, and find out, and then compare. And if the quality and the response or the negativeness is going down, then come up with measures that this can be reversed. And if it is going up, it would be very interesting to find out why local people are becoming happier and happier, so that the message goes to the destinations that they are becoming less and less happy, and they can learn from each other. This was a really engaging discussion, presentation. We learned a lot, especially that we learned that you can create a festival out of the thin air, something which does not exist. So I want to ask myself a question from the member of the panel. If some listeners among us, and people will be watching this later on YouTube, if they want to create their own festivals, how do they begin? At the 0 point, they have the idea that my city also can benefit from a festival, annual festival, seasonal festival. What is the beginning of this? Should they go to the history books and see what the city has been doing in the past? Should they create something which relates to the history or to the culture of the local people? Or it has to be something that relates to the market, to tourists? I would be very interested to know the answer from the member of the panel. How to begin to have a festival?
자, Dr. Kazem, 어떻게
Dr. Kazem,
행사를 마무리하면 되겠습니까?
can we close the section, or can we receive more questions? But we have arranged simultaneous interpreters for only 1 hour and a half, and I don't know if we can continue.
Maybe we can continue without translation. Maybe if possible in English, it will be okay. But we can continue with to get answer for Jafar's question, and then after that we can continue without translation, if you don't mind.
우리 김복효 선생님이 조금 더 도와주실 수 있나요, 없나요?
I wonder if Katie can help me more.
네.
Okay, so let's have another maybe 10 minutes to go.
Maybe another thing we can do is to think about having a follow-up webinar on the
잘
subject.
모르기 때문에 좀 우리가 부탁드리기는 좀 어렵고, 그런데 한 10분 정도만 좀 더 도와주실 수 있는지 모르겠습니다. 그럼 괜찮습니다. 그러면 저희가 그냥 우리 그 그룹으로 해가지고 이렇게 하도록 하겠습니다. 예. 네. 네. Okay, Dr. Kasem, we can continue a little bit more without
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so would you please see who will answer Jafar's question now?
제가 조금 더 I can answer little bit. The Jafar point out very good point that some of the residents may be the lower their quality of life maybe due to the festival. That point is based on the stakeholder problem. The business group, and there's a very positive groups of residents. They think festival is very the good and beneficial to their life and their business, but maybe 10% or 20%, I don't know, the people, maybe, during the festival it's so noisy and there's a lot of garbage and some complain about that, but that things always happen. So, but I think we can survey the based on the stakeholder, then we can figure it out which groups they think about the festival as a negative thing or positive things, and so that depends. What do you say, Dr. Jafari?
Well, I wanted to plant the seed for the idea that if you are doing it, great. If you are not doing it, it's very important to do it. Basically measuring we have gross national product. So we need to have gross national happiness also. Usually rate of satisfaction in tourism is given when the economy per capita earning goes up. So what I'm saying is that per capita happiness should also go up. And if the per capita happiness in the community is not going up because of the festival, then the festival has to restudy itself to make sure that per capita happiness during the conference or beyond during the festival or beyond the festival goes up. So it's a suggestion, basically. If you're not doing it, I'm suggesting that it's important to do so.
Okay. Is there anything to say, Dr. Hoan or Dr. Nam? Anything about any comments about Dr.
Dr. Jafari, I impressed your mention because we surveyed every year and analysis, but just focus on the tourists, not for the local, but you advised we need to focus on the regional, the local people, right?
Exactly. Tourism industry basically studies the market. That's natural.
So
but
problem
you
is,
you have to study the supply, the destination as well, the happiness of the destination, the community as well.
So I learned that because the problem is that most of the Korean festival focus on the tourists when they survey getting the data. So I think from now on, I think we need to also focus on the local people and tourists. So thank you for your advice.
It's not the festivals who focus on the market. Tourism in general studies market. We are very much market driven, and our studies are market driven as well. So I'm suggesting that for a festival or for a destination needs to sample both satisfaction of the business satisfaction and the tourist satisfaction, but more important, the local community satisfaction with tourism.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. 자, 혹시 우리 저 한국 그룹들 가운데 질문이 있으시면은 혹시 또 질문을 좀 해주시기 바랍니다. 질문 있으세요? 혹시 그 세계 축제들에 대해서 혹시 그 오늘 사례에 대해서 질문들이 혹시 있으시면 그 플로어의 질문들을 할 시간이 없었는데 혹시 질문들이 있으면은 질문을 해주시기 바랍니다.
I think we are in the end of the discussion, and
It seems like
we
no
have
more
lost the
question about.
translation. So as Professor Jafari mentioned, this is also a good sign that this webinar need a follow-up and a second version. The discussion and the seed that you planted is very attractive, and it demands maybe another complete webinar to continue. What I personally am interested in is, as I discussed with you, Professor Jeong, is to also look through the opportunities for organizing festivals in rural area, not only in urban, because rural area are more into local community and natural resource-based festivals, and if possible, associated with agriculture and agricultural heritage. So we can, with your design and help, organize the second version of the webinar and go further. So I would like to thank all of you for the discussion today, and we are looking to see you again in Scott. For our audience, please write your questions in the chat. Also, you can watch the video on YouTube and leave your comment there. I'm sure that our moderator and speakers will visit the chat in YouTube, and they will reply you in proper time. I would like to thank everybody and wish you all the best. Professor Jafari, you have.
You said it all. Please recommend the YouTube version of this to people who could not join us at this time. Those of you are professors, maybe you want to show the video in your classes and generate a discussion on festival attitudes and management and so on and so forth. And I simply want to say thank you very much, Kamsahamnida. It was an excellent webinar. Thank you very much, Dr. John. You did, as always, you do well, and I'm very happy to know that you are having a number of people trained in this subject area, and all of them are accomplished individuals. And this is what the journey of education is, you know. I had the pleasure of being your professor. Now you are professor to some other people, and so on and so forth. So the knowledge is passed on, and as the knowledge is passed on, it improves. And that is the important part of knowledge development. Thank you very much, everybody. And have a good night for you and for me. The sun has not risen yet. It's still dark outside. So would be breakfast. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
감사합니다.
Thank you. 감사합니다.
Dr. Kasem, Dr. Kasem,
Thank you very much, Dr. Jang.
Dr. Kasem.
Yes, please.
The comment what you said, your proposal is quite possible that the tourism festival in rural area and agricultural area is we have plenty of sample and case study like a Kimje Horizon Festival, Kumsan Ginseng Festival, Hadong Tea Festival is a right case for the small and agricultural community, which they host a tourism festival, have a variety of kinds of economic and socio-cultural impact. Hopefully, we can see you next time with those cases. Okay.
With pleasure. and hopefully Jafar will be earlier than me to join you in Korea. For me, it's just maybe 20 minutes to 30 minutes flight. And yeah, I would love to go back to rural Korea. I remember one of the rural initiatives was to bring Korean tea farming into the brand of I think it was
about ginseng.
It was Starbucks that they also included Korean green tea in a Starbucks brand, and that was very, very attractive to me. So I know in rural they have a lot of initiatives, and with your help, we will enjoy learning more from Korean rural as well. Thank you so much. 감사합니다.
Thank you.
And
감사합니다. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. 오늘 발표자 수고하셨습니다.
Thank
고생하셨습니다.
you. 네. 수고하셨습니다.
Bye bye. Dr. Jafari. Bye
Thank
bye.
you. Thank you. Have a good night. Thank you.